Most problems that life brings to us in our early adolescence are caused by bad relationships with our father and mother. But almost nobody understands that universal truth until it is too late to avoid mistakes. The truth is that whenever you go against your procreator, you're going against part of your being. That is an important one. It is a part that you can't miss if you want to become a responsible adolescent for once in your life. If you think that your parents caused you too much pain and you can't respect them anymore because of this simple fact, keep in mind that they are the only real reason for you to be here. Today, I want you to take in some powerful stuff that will make it easy to improve, repair, or make up for unavoidable mistakes that your parents have made, even if they are already dead. But you have to be aware that you must soften your heart firsthand, otherwise none of this will work. Here we go. Number 1. Message, visit, or contact them once a week. It should already be an obvious thing to do. But not for everyone. For many of us, this can seem too much, despite the fact that we live in the communication era. We just don't want our parents in our lives. We want everything our way and for ourselves. It's very weird, but we have to look at this deeper. If we were really aware and confident about everything we are doing, we should not be afraid of what our parents' opinions could be. But it is never the case for how we are. We want to hide from them as much information as we can. And the world has given us more ways to do it than we actually need. Still, we don't want to live with them in the same house, even though they did for as long as it was necessary, so we can grow up and become someone. Even if they caused a lot of pain along the way, we might have just died. For worse, it is very hard to realize that living with attitude, where someone important to us sees everything we do, makes every one of our choices better. It doesn't have to be God for who we think of that watches us from the start. That's why I want you to send a text message to each of your parents once a week. It costs you 2 minutes. And please, don't just tell them you are fine. Say something more about how things are going, and let them react for what you are going through. They probably know more about everything you are going through right now, because they have more life experience. In a weird sense, they also know you better than you know yourself. They can see through your heart, almost like God in moments where you can't. Isn't it sometimes annoying? But it is also the main reason to rebel against them, as we think we can somehow interrupt their insights over our choices. Another thing is that you are destined to make the same mistakes as they did, and you have no one else to warn you about them. But they are to be solved by you, as if they have failed with them. They also couldn't teach you, because how could you gracefully deal with them? Number 2. Forgive the past. You can't grow in virtue when you are filled with bad emotions, because one kills the other. Despite all the mistakes that were made, we cannot avoid them completely. At some point, you have to decide that you want to mature, regardless of how you were raised by your parents, and figure out on your own what you're missing at. Because if you won't, it will never happen by itself. It may happen by itself, when something that matters for you will be taken away. But why not fix it on your own, if it could change everything in your life for better? I don't need my parents. I don't need anyone. I'd rather live on my own. What the heck? How would life happen to you? And how would you learn all the things that you can do by yourself? Stop zooming in on the dark side of everything that happened, or stay living in the shadow of real life. They are the ones that had it all worse. Much worse. But it turned them into something unlikable. You like the obnoxious idea of being a bad person? I can't help you then. Only God and life stays in the game for the better you. It was never a case for God to break someone's bad will into a good one. Number 3. Start a serious conversation. When you have dealt with all the negativity towards your parents, now you can start to talk with them. No more arguing. Have a conversation. You can talk through all the constructive things. it will no longer lead you to conflict, but cooperation. You may still disagree with them, but after a couple attempts to cooperation, you will find one that works surprisingly well, and this one will be how you will crush your goals much faster because you will no longer have to do everything on your own. However, the ones that are capable to love you in the same manner as God loves his children. You have to try it on your own. I can just warn you about your life speeding up and gaining momentum beyond your current beliefs. Too good to be true. Number 4. Learn to respect them for who they are. Like anything in life, it has two sides, darker and brighter. So do your parents. If you don't respect your parents, it must be that you never have truly looked for a bright one. You know what? We don't like when something comes to us easily. Maybe your childhood was light. Maybe it was too hard and unstable. For whatever reason, you hate your parents. Now it's time to change your point of view. If it was easy, then you had no opportunity to adapt to real-life hardships. Forget about it for a moment and flip the coin. Looks like now you possess the advantage of true comprehension. How important challenges are for a child early in life before entering adolescence. Personal experiences are the best sources of wisdom. Your parents haven't experienced what you've had, so they did those mistakes. But you have realized it, so you can't repeat it when you are going to be raising your offspring. Any time when you will be too lighthearted for your children, it will remind you about the pain of not being properly prepared for entering adolescence, what it caused in your life, and how much it had cost you to repair that one. There are also odds that your parents were not responsible. You were treated by them no better than a piece of furniture. Everything they did to you was random, and they provided 0 sense of stability. Well, that's a lot of damage. If you were treated this way, you shall resolve it before you will start your family, as you will likely treat your children with the same patterns that your parents teach you. But remember that there are no parents that can't teach anything. Parents barely taking care of you will teach you that you can't trust anyone. You have to take care of yourself and never attempt to cooperate with the world, as it will disappoint or scam you. Now you have to take care of yourself, because you have felt to the bone that your parents were not helping you at all. If you were overprotected, you couldn't. You would expect everyone to do that for you. You see, that these were just the mistakes, the repetitive ones they had learned from their own parents, or made unconsciously. If you can understand it, you can't think anymore about your parents, as they were bad people. They just didn't know what you know now, so they did not know what they were doing with you. Now you are offered with wisdom, so you understand exactly what happened. You have no more reasons to live in your past. And this wisdom is not only just from the parents. You can take a lesson from anything in life. You can take multiple lessons and grow spiritually, where others would just claim that life is unfair for them. If you know wisdom once for what it is, you can extrapolate her into any field in your life. True wisdom is universal by itself, and this is what you will find here. However, only those with open hearts will get to know it. Others will have to learn from greater shakes that life will bring to them. Shakes that will melt those hardened hearts, making gaps in them, so wisdom can soak in, as they will go through more hardships and pain. If only it was granted by God that He will make a sequence of events in life of each of us, that we will have it granted sooner or later. Only sometimes God pushes us that hard, never breaking our free will to choose the evil one. And who will you choose today?